Hello, everyone, and welcome to another podcast of Shivuk Talk. I'm Yair, and today we have a special guest in English. I know that the podcast usually is in Hebrew, but we have a guest that her mother tongue is English, so why not talk in English? Hey, Natasha, how are you?
I'm good, thanks. Thanks for having me in English today.
Yes, thank you very much for coming. I was looking forward to our uh, podcast together. It's going to be an interesting topic. We're going to talk about reviews. You work in a company called Loox, and it's going to be interesting to dive deep into the world of reviews because we usually look at it as something that is given, that you see it on the website, but there is a lot of theory and a lot of best practices and things you should know before you actually put reviews on your website. And because as I always say, I won't know how to introduce you as good as you. So if you want to introduce you in a few words.
Sure. So hi everyone. I'm Natasha. Thanks for listening to us. I was born in London, raised in California, and I've been living in Israel for the past 20 years. I spent most of my career in marketing. I was a CMO of startups for many years. Most recently, I worked at Fiverr, running the business verticals there. Then I was in a dev startup called Wilco, overseeing sales, marketing, and DevRel. And I've been at Loox, running the go-to-market teams for the past year and a half. I'm really excited to chat today.
Yes, thank you. The world of reviews is a world that I'm really interested in because at my current workplace, I really feel how reviews make an impact on conversions and really improving the sales and helping us to be more legit in front of potential customers, in front of leads. So I really am interested in all the platforms, in all the current solutions that can help businesses to improve the way reviews are shown in their website.
Mm.
So how does Loox work?
So basically, just to give some context, Loox is a Shopify app, and we help over 130,000 brands grow their business through visual social proof. So what it does, it helps collect the reviews when an order is placed, and then we display them through beautiful widgets.
Cool. And how do people actually do it? What is the process of putting it in your website and using it and sending it
Yeah.
to your customers in order for them to review, or for UGC? How does it work?
So Look specifically is built in order to be automated and really easy. So it's kind of like a set it and forget it. We work on the back end. So once the order is placed, we send an email to the shopper to collect the review. We have a really like easy, fun design for reviewers to submit their text, photo, or video, and they also can get an incentive like a discount, for example, if they submit a video. And then we take that review and we plug it into the website through our widgets. So the brand selects kind of how they want to display the widgets on their website and how they want to set it up. And we take care of the rest.
Interesting. I wish I could try it in my own website, but because it's B2B, so it's a bit different.
We have tons of B2B customers. I'm happy to show you later.
No, that's interesting. Oh, but the other part is that we are not on Shopify.
Okay, that's the caveat, but there are some great review apps that I'm happy to recommend.
That would be nice. If you can, send me later, and I will put it in the description below. The things that are more, let's say, outside of Shopify, the things that are
Mhm.
not competing against yourself. We don't want you to promote competitors. But how do you feel that reviews play a role in the marketing strategy, in the scope of everything? What is the part of reviews?
Yeah, so I mean, I've been in different industries, right? Consumer, dev, now e-commerce. And I think no matter what type of business you're in, reviews help build trust and legitimacy. It's relevant not just for direct to consumer brands, but for all companies, whether they're physical businesses, B2B, B2C. Customers use reviews for their decision making and to build trust and basically get more insight around the brand. So they're super important no matter what type of company you are.
Yeah, I feel that when you enter to a website, I'm talking now not on the marketing hat, but just as a consumer hat. If I go into a website without reviews, it feels a bit sketchy, a bit weird. And I know that someone told me once, even if you don't put real reviews, you put things that you don't lie, like you invent that you are amazing when you are a scammer. But if you are using things that people told you, sometimes, as I said, it's hard to collect reviews. I work in a law firm, so to get the clients to agree to be in front of the camera sometimes is a bit tricky. But when you use reviews, even text, it can be helpful for your website to look better in front of leads.
100%. I wouldn't recommend having fake reviews. There's actually like a lot of oversight around reviews and fake reviews and AI reviews. It's important that they are like authentic, and that's what builds the trust. But there are different ways to get reviews, whether it's doing a product sampling campaign, for example, if you're just starting out, or if you're a B2B customer, like finding an incentive that I've used a lot of companies and products, and they've asked me to write a review and be an advocate, and they've given me something in return, a discount moving forward. So there are different ways that even if you're just starting out, that you can seed those first reviews. But definitely don't go through the fake route. I don't recommend it. You can be penalized by the FTC, and you don't want that.
Really?
hmm Especially with AI. I think like now this new era that we're going into, that it's really hard to differentiate between real and fake reviews. That's why there's governance by the Federal Trade Commission, especially for for physical products and for D2C brands. And that's specifically for AI generated reviews. So they've stated that they're going to start penalizing companies up to $50,000 per use of fake reviews. So ensuring you have honest and authentic reviews is way more important, also because that's what's going to help you convert more.
Yeah, no, it's good to know. I didn't really use, but that's something that someone told me once. Like you should, if you don't have a way to collect reviews, you can try and like, again, not invent, but if someone told you something, so you can ask him, hey, you said something interesting, can I post it in my website and that way? But yeah,
Exactly.
it's important. Yeah, don't try to fake reviews, especially if the law is involved.
Yeah.
And how reviews are being used on website? Where do you recommend to put them,
Yeah.
and what are the best practices?
So, like if we think of physical businesses, Google Maps is probably the first thing that comes to mind. For D2C, it's their product reviews app. Shameless plug in for Loox here. Obviously, if you're using Shopify, happy to give you a discount. For B2B and consumer, it's generally like Reddit, Trustpilot, G2. And for mobile apps, the beginning of my career was in mobile apps. It's like Google Play and App Store. But across the board, no matter what type of company you're in, social channels like X and YouTube, you need to start having social listening and keep track of how people are talking about your brand. And not only just pay attention to what they're saying, but also reply and engage in those conversations so that other people can see what level of service and kind of how you're responding to those.
Oh, that's something that really like. I know that there are a few ads that keep popping up on my feed, and I am interested in the companies and really buying the products. I talked in the past. There is a Swedish. How you call it, like wood that you can do pull-up bars. It's made out of wood, like in schools.
I spoke to them. I get the same ads, and I actually reached out to them to understand. It's very expensive to ship it to Israel, apparently.
So do they have it in Israel?
Oh, okay.
Ads I saw are like they are from an Israeli company, and one of the things that keep pissing me off is the fact that they have a lot of comments, 50, 100 reviews, and no one like replies. And it's okay, you paid money on the ads, people are interested, it's very interesting, the price is okay, the product looks good, the ads are amazing, so why are you not doing the final step of actually answering? It doesn't matter if someone is talking about, okay, the price is too high, so you say something about it, or if someone is asking a technical question, what is the maximum weight I can
Yeah.
like do?
I think that companies don't understand that reviews are a marketing channel. And replying to a review is an opportunity to showcase your value proposition, whether it's the level of support that you're giving and the attention to detail, or just like explaining things from a value proposition. So even if someone's saying something negative, you can always explain why. And I think that when I look at, for example, a hotel and a negative review, I understand that different people have different tastes, and also, things happen. Sometimes people get products that they're not expecting, or something happens along the way. When I'm looking at a negative review, what I'm equally looking at is the response from the company, the level of detail, the care, the support they provide. Because sometimes the way you respond to a review can be more important and rebut any negativity that the negative review actually has. And just from a customer support perspective, like, you can amend whatever negative sentiment there is. So you can offer a sincere apology, explain, attempt to amend their experience. And we see a lot of customers actually updating reviews after, if we've handled their issue well enough. So this doesn't just solve for the negative experience someone's had. It also helps showcase your value proposition and your level of support and your company values, I would say, to people who are looking. And I think also there's a big difference between a negative review versus a not 5-star review. And there's like
Yeah.
perception, and how people write in a review is equally as important than the stars that they give. So I would say to like look at the whole picture and to really be attentive to the details and to use it as a marketing opportunity.
Yeah, that's to understand that it's one of the marketing funnels, one of the marketing, like, look at it as a campaign to collect reviews. It can be really, really beneficial, and not only, okay, I need to do it because I need to do it. It's part of the marketing. And I know that I
100%.
have a tip that really helped us to, in the last year, double the amount of reviews we have, is that just we did a simple automation that once we have, again, I work at a law firm. So once a case is closed, so there is a pop-up that asks the lawyer, do you want to send this client an email about asking for a review? And then they say yes, and it sends it to him, and we doubled the amount of reviews we have. Like,
That's awesome.
yeah, since we worked since in 2016, and in a year we doubled like the amount of reviews we had since then. It's pretty insane, and
That's really cool.
with a basic automation.
So as a reviews app, like the collection rate is something that is one of our top KPIs. So we actually have like an entire optimization team that's constantly thinking about how we can improve that funnel. So, better timing, better emails, better UI. And so you really need to think of not just the facts that you want to review, but when is the right time, and really play and optimize those moments. And every product is different, but you have to think of like, what is the happy moment? So I love to give the example of Waze. So let's say you're using Waze to navigate to work, right? And the app works perfectly. It correctly estimates the amount of time it's going to take. It even gave you a shorter route, and it did exactly what the app was supposed to do. But now let's say it did all that, but you sat in traffic for the whole time. And in fact, it took you 20 minutes more than it usually does on a regular day. So, from a product experience perspective, it did an amazing job. But from a psychology perspective, of like, is the consumer in a happy moment right now? Probably not. So when you think as a customer, when's the right time to ask for a review, you really need to think about the time where they're getting the most value and that happy moment exists. So the timing is really important. And for physical brands, for example, there are some products where you can give a review straight away, like clothing and sunglasses. You get a box, you open, you put it on, love it.
Yeah.
Some are seasonal, right? You only send them, it's a winter product, or it's a summer, or it's for swimming. And others take time to actually see the impact. And if you want an authentic and honest review, then you need to make sure that the timing works out. So, like supplements, creams, hair products, you want to wait enough time for the product to deliver on its promise and provide the impact. And same goes for technical products too.
Oh, I never thought about like it. It's amazing to hear about something that makes so much sense, but I never thought about it. The timing of when you send the review is super critical because again,
Yeah,
for example, I bought a new office chair for my like home work, and like the setup I have here, and if they would have sent me, okay, review it after a day, it would have been different and like less, like not as good as doing it after a month, which makes a lot of sense.
exactly.
Now, there is something you talked a bit before, and I want us to come back to is the let's call it the psychology around the stars, the points you get. So you,
Hmm.
of course, businesses would love to have 5 stars reviews all the time, but I feel that a 4.6, a 4.7 is better than 5. What do you think
Okay.
about that?
So there's different components of a review, right? In D2C, direct to consumer. So you have the text, you have the stars, and then you have the visual, like photo or video. And I think when you're looking at a review, you need to look at each of them because people rate things differently. Oftentimes, a 4-star review for someone means that they're extremely happy, and they very rarely give a 5. Okay. But when you look at those components together, right, like the text that they said and how much context they gave, and especially in a video review, which converts even more, you want to look at, are they excited? Are they giving away specific examples of things that they liked? And I think when you look at a review, you have to look at all the things as a whole. In addition to that, let's say you go to a store and all you see is 5-star reviews. So something in our nature kind of gives this skepticism of like, are they real?
Yeah.
Is this honest? And there's actually studies to show that a mixture between positive and negative actually helps improve trust and increase conversion because you see real people sharing their real feedback. And oftentimes, if a review isn't perfect but has a lot of context to it, then it will give the shopper or the potential shopper, hopefully, more insight to answer the questions they're looking for. So, 5 stars and having only 5 stars reviews doesn't actually mean that it's going to be better at increasing conversion. The mixture between positive and negative and showing authenticity and having more visuals that really increases conversion and having people explain more in their text also really helps.
Do you know if there's like a sweet spot, like 4.1, 4.2, 4.3, 6? Is there like a benchmark or it's like it really
It's
depends?
a, it's a really good question. I think that when I think of the rating as a whole, obviously anything over 4 is better. I think that if you're in certain platforms, for example, we're a Shopify app, or I used to work for a mobile app. And so when people are searching and how the decision making to use that is going in, then the rank in the ASO App Store optimization, then the numbers become more important because it's not just a factor of are people using the number to assess you, but how are you versus your competitors ranking against each other in the algo of Google App Store in our case, or Google Play, or the App Store? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. I think that I am a top reviewer on Google on restaurants that I go like around the world.
Awesome.
Uh, and I always feel that like when we go abroad, so my wife, she's in charge of the flights and I'm in charge of when we get there of where we're going and like the restaurants.
It's a good
And
mix.
yeah, and I feel that in the world of restaurants specifically, maybe below 4.3, 4.2, it's a bit like I don't know, and below 4, it's like a no
Oh
go.
yeah, for sure. I think that also the experience or the type of thing that you're rating or that you're assessing or looking to buy, the way that you comprehend and digest and weigh the reviews is different, right? So like restaurants, for example, Google Maps, anything under 4.5, you're not going to look at probably, or 4.2, depending which country you're in. Um, Other things, so it really depends. And that's why when you look at reviews from a marketing strategy perspective, you have to treat each platform differently, right? Like G2 is different to Trustpilot, is different to Reddit, is different to the Google Maps. So you really, as a marketer, need to look at each one as a channel in its own.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it really depends on what you're doing. Like if you're a restaurant, so probably G2 is not relevant for you.
Yeah.
Uh, so it really depends. And you talked about something interesting before about the bad reviews, knowing how to approach bad reviews. I know that our score on Google at my where I work is 4.9,
Mm.
and which is good, but it really depends on what bad review you get. Exactly like you said, like you have someone giving you a 3 because of something that is a minor issue, but in the end they are okay with the result. But there is a 1-star review when someone says, no, the service was awful, I'm not happy, you shouldn't approach them. And then we try to contact the client and say, hey, listen, what happened? And to be honest, it doesn't happen a lot. It happens maybe once, twice, 3 times a year. But every time we approach the client, he's first of all, he appreciate the fact that we saw the review and we don't ignore it, and we talked with him, and we also tell him we are sorry and what can we do in order for you to feel happy. We don't even talk about the can you fix the bad review on Google. We
Yeah,
just try to fix the situation, and usually after we fix it, they feel bad and they change it themselves.
yeah. So the best practice is honestly, like as a company, you want to have the best customer support there is. And like any bad experience someone has, you want to try to amend that feeling that they have. So it's important not to just obviously reply publicly, but to actually reply privately. If you can, cool, and that makes sense for your customer base, then you should. And I think you should do it from the perspective of amending the experience, but also, you know, as we mentioned and discussed earlier, like look at it as marketing opportunity of how other people are seeing the level of service that you provide.
So you only do video reviews, right? Or you also do text?
No, we do text, photo, and videos alongside the star reading.
Good, because now it will be a better answer from your side when I ask about the differences between text, between photos, and between videos regarding like the conversions, any cases that one is better than the other.
So Look specifically is focused on visual reviews. Like that's been our bread and butter for the past 10 years. That's also how we differentiate. And the reason is because photos convert, I would say 30 to 40% higher, I believe, and videos convert 80%. So
80.
yeah, 80%
Wow.
higher than text. So I think now, especially in an AI era where authenticity and trust is something that people are trying to lean in on to really make decisions for themselves. Video reviews are even more important now than they were before. So yeah.
Yeah, wow, I did it. 80%, it's 80
Yeah.
times is it's a lot.
I'll also say like there's also the marketing aspect of being able to repurpose video reviews. So for example, if you get a good video review, you can use that in your marketing, right? You can put it on social, not just on your website, but you can use it as part of your marketing collateral on your emails to showcase happy customers. And I think that engine of working hard to make customers happy and to earn, you know, those happy customers and then showcasing them through your different marketing channels and tactics is super important as a marketer as well.
Oh, it's really interesting. Now I feel a FOMO of not putting video content on our website. This is
Never too late to start.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna start. The only thing I'm thinking about is how actually like when to send it, how to ask for it. Like again, because it's a bit tricky on our field, like to ask for a review, and people sometimes feel, no, I don't want to share that I had a legal issue. So I'm thinking of how exactly to do it and when.
Those are exactly the right questions to ask. And I think finding the right provider to help you do that is really important. I'm happy to go over with you later and we can talk about tips and tricks specifically for your use case. And if anyone else that's listening, you can reach out to me too. I'm happy to spend some time with you.
My next question is regarding the incentive for people, for clients to actually leave a review. What are the, again, we say a lot of best practices, but I think that the title of this entire podcast is best practices for reviews.
Yeah.
What are the best practices when it comes to what you should give, or what is the best way to get
Um,
reviews?
so I think it really depends on the type of company you're in. But for physical, like for D2C, direct to consumer online stores, um, we only provide an incentive for photos and videos. We do not provide an incentive for textual reviews. That's one really important caveat. The second thing is it needs to be really clear that whatever incentive that you're giving, it is only for the, in our case, visuals, because you never want to provide an incentive for the type of review or the rating, for example. It means that someone's going to get the incentive, whether the review is positive or negative, and that is okay by you. That's really important according to FTC guidelines, and also Google, like if you're syndicating your reviews. Um, in addition to that, you want to make sure that you have some methodology to ensure that it's only for verified reviews. So people who actually bought. What you see in certain industries is sometimes competitors try to like write fake reviews. You don't want to allow that. So in our case, we have an option to have or not have a button for write a review on the website, which a brand can decide to take on and off. And I think in general, it's really important for B2B companies to, as we spoke about before, like find the right moment and find an incentive or something that speaks to the core of your value proposition. So, for example, if you have, I don't know, like a better user community, or if there's something that someone can get early access to, or a discount, like those are great ways to, I wouldn't say incentivize, but thank people who take the time to write an honest and authentic review for you.
Yeah, I think that what you said here is very good, because the obvious is if you leave a review, you get a 10% off, which is like the basic way to incentivize reviews. But I think that to create another, like some kind of a community of, it's a side effect. Like if you leave a review, we'll give you early access, as you said, or access to a community, or access to a secret group, or things like that. I think it can be another interesting benefit. It really depends,
Yeah.
again, product. If you are selling shirts, then 10% off is probably the best way to go. But if it's something a bit more technical, a bit more, let's say, nerdy, then it can be maybe a interesting thing to try.
Yeah, I look at reviews as part of like a wider advocacy engine. So it's more testimonials and advocates and reviews and how they play into each other and identifying people who really love, like there's the everyday people that are going to review your app, and then there are the people who are going to be your advocates and your champions. And then how can you activate them in channels that are important for you? You know, identify people that have karma on Reddit and look at people who are super active on X. And in most industries, there are dedicated communities where I'm sure you have customers that can actually speak on your behalf there. So looking at from a distribution channel as well, and like finding the people who can be your champions and advocates not just a reviewer and taking it the step forward, is like the next part of how you can use reviews or advocacy as part of your marketing strategy.
Yeah, I think we talked a lot about reviews, and my last question about it is when it comes to the use cases that people maybe don't think of. Okay, we have the classic, we put it on the website, but are there any, let's call it, side effects of using reviews?
For sure. So we did talk about like putting the reviews and plugging into your website and then repurposing them for your different marketing collateral. But now consumer behavior habits have changed, right? People aren't going first to the website. They're actually going to LLMs. So if someone's going to write on GPT, what should I buy? Where should I buy X? Or and then so reviews are actually, and advocacy in general is becoming more and more important in the AEO geo tactics as well, especially on sites like Reddit. So it's important to think holistically, not just about the review, the collection, and how you're going to get it, how you're going to reply, but also how you're going to use that as a strategy for your wider marketing as well.
I didn't think about reviews being part of the geo being shown on ChatGPT, on Gemini, on Claude, on Grok, Perplexity. But I guess because no one really knows, everyone are guessing. We are just in the like the early phases of using like ChatGPT in like and changing instead of using Google, let's say. And I think that no one really knows what really contributes to the results to be shown more. I feel that where I work, we are like, if you ask, I need a lawyer for e-commerce, for social media. So a lot of times we do get leads that we see that they came from ChatGPT, for example.
Mhm.
The best thing you can do is just do a good job when it comes to creating content, doing a good job when it comes to service, have a good website, and reviews is another layer that I believe adds to when ChatGPT, I say again, I'm saying ChatGPT, but I mean all of them, all the AI platforms, they probably do look at it and say, okay, if there are a lot of reviews, if there are a lot of videos about that are related to reviews, I don't think that the system actually watches the videos, but it adds to the credibility and another good score for your website when it comes to like recommendations.
Yeah, exactly.
Perfect, perfect. Well, Natasha, it was very interesting. It's 30 minutes full of relevant and interesting reviews. Like I will be honest, I never thought about reviews so much. And after I started talking with you, I started like before we had really before we recorded the podcast. I mean, like when we talked about maybe we should do a podcast, an episode together, I started noticing reviews more and understanding
Mhm.
as a marketing manager that it is important. Like you should look at it as another, as you said before, it's part of your strategy. You should focus on it, and it's one of the things that after our call, I'm gonna go to the team and talk with them about. Okay, let's see how can we implement it in our website. So thank you.
My pleasure. And if you have any questions or if anyone who's listening wants any advice, feel free to reach out.
Yeah, so I will have your LinkedIn if you want
Sure.
below,
With pleasure.
and also send me a link for like the website, Loox websites, and then you can also see the platform and really try it yourself.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure, and we'll see you guys in the next episode.
Bye.
Bye.